China's pace of economic growth is predicted to slow for a sixth consecutive quarter due to weakening demand at home and abroad. Du Ying, Vice Chairman of the National Development and Reform Commission, told a news conference this week it will ensure sound and fast economic growth this year. However, it will not be to the same scale as the stimulus programme implemented during the global credit crisis in 2008. Today I'm joined by Niloofar Rafiei, China economist at Timetric in London, to discuss her views on this. Thank you for joining me today. Do you think the Chinese economy is in need of a major stimulus programme, and what type of measures will the government put in place?
Yeah, well, I guess this week there's been a lot of speculation about whether China will implement a stimulus package. And this follows, of course, 2008's large fiscal stimulus package, which was 4 trillion RMB, around 600 US dollars. But I think to most economists, it comes as a sign of relief that the dash of a stimulus package has been reduced because of the problems that the stimulus package caused in 2008, namely being, strong growth in investment, government-led investment, strong credit growth, which caused inflationary pressures, and the rise in local government debt, which the government is still trying to soak up. And so because of this, I think it's a bit of a relief that they are not implementing a stimulus package, but instead are providing more targeted measures. And we've seen a few signs of that over the past few weeks. This includes measures such as accelerating approvals for investment, providing households with subsidies for energy-efficient household appliances and automobiles, similar to the Cash to Clunkers program that was introduced in 2008. So overall, I think it is comforting that the government is taking a more proactive stance that it has so far. It has been, particularly because the April economic outcomes were quite weak. Quarter one GDP growth of 8.1% was surprisingly weak. So overall, I think the government is going to try to tolerate a slower pace in economic growth, whilst at the same time providing the market with some kind of confidence that it is aware that momentum has slowed.
Despite China's growth stagnation, it still has the highest growth rate in the world. Do you think this will continue, and what are your GDP predictions for the near future?
China has maintained strong growth of around 10% over the past 30 years, but I think it's pretty well acknowledged that it can't continue. And for this year, growth is expected to slow, largely because of factors in the European region. So at the moment, we're forecasting growth of 8.3%, and this is down from 9.2% last year, and largely because of a detraction in exports.
China has a continuous problem with inflation. Do you expect inflation figures to ease soon?
Yeah, inflation has eased. It's come down to 3.4% in April this year on an annual basis. This compares to 6.5% last year in July. And the major reason behind this has been because of the slowdown in credit growth. Broad money supply, which is M2 growth, has come down as well. So there are indicators that inflation will continue to slow this year. And we're forecasting 3.5% this year, which is comfortably within the government's annual target of 4% this year.
China's factories witnessed a further deterioration in demand in May due to the Eurozone crisis and the sluggish US economy. How do you think a Greek exit might affect the Chinese economy?
Well, so far you've seen a slowdown in export growth. It came down to 5% annual growth from an annual average of around 20%. But of course, this is not because of Greece. Greece itself takes a negligible part of total China's exports. It's more the fact that of the risk of contagion, of it spreading to other European economies, for example, France, Germany, Spain, Italy, and exports from Europe to Europe account for about 20% of China's total exports. So should the Eurozone crisis further intensify, this will be a further drag on growth this year. At most, it expected that it will detract 4 percentage points from growth of around 8.3%. So that is quite significant, and it's something that I think the Chinese authorities are well aware of.
Okay, thank you Niloofar for your thoughts and forecasts. Stay tuned to Dukascopy TV for more exclusive interviews like this. Goodbye.